Now, other questions on Deputy Terence Flanagan is number 6.
Thank you, Laskin Corla. The question is to ask the Minister for an update regarding the new evidence that was provided to her department by the Stardust Victims Committee in relation to the cause of that fire that took place tragically in 1981. Just has she an update, and when will her department be making an official response to that new evidence presented?
Minister.
I'm very conscious of the deep impact the fire at the Stardust in 1981 has had on individuals and families concerned and on the wider community. I met with the Stardust Victims and Relatives Committee last year, and that meeting provided me with an opportunity to hear firsthand the ongoing concerns of the committee in relation to this tragic event. The Deputy will be aware that these events were the subject of a tribunal of inquiry, which reported in 1982, and an independent legal examination, which reported in 2009. The report of the independent legal examination concluded, in the absence of any identified evidence as to the cause of the fire, the most another inquiry could achieve would be another set of hypothetical findings which would not be in the public interest. The then government, as deputies who are in the House here now will be aware, accepted those findings, and motions were passed in both houses of the Oireachtas endorsing those conclusions and expressing sympathy with the families. Following my meeting with the committee and hearing their concerns, I appointed an official in my department to liaise with the committee, and they have engaged with representatives of the committee in the intervening period. A researcher associated with the committee, who is known to you, Deputy, submitted material relating to these events to my department, and a meeting was held with the researcher and another person associated with the committee. The material previously submitted and the matters raised at that meeting have continued to be examined in my department. I do want to say to you as well, Deputy, that some of the matters that the committee raised with me and have raised previously are subject to a Garda investigation, and that is ongoing and quite complex at present. I am informed by the Garda Commissioner that it is, as I have said, a complex investigation, and I cannot do anything that might cut across that investigation. But there has been ongoing contact with my department and a range of material submitted, which has had further analysis, and I will be back in contact with the committee again in relation to that analysis.
Deputy Terence Flanagan.
Thank you, Laskin Corla, and just to thank the Minister for a response. But I suppose the Victims Committee, they're getting very anxious really about the delay in the information, the new evidence that's being brought to light, and that actually being examined by your department, Minister. So just asking if you can give a commitment that that will be looked at and expedited in a timely manner, because, as you already stated, you did meet the Victims Committee, and that's very much appreciated. But that was over a year ago now at this stage, and I know there was an issue about evidence being presented and then being taken back, but that evidence is with your department, and just can you make sure that the people examining that information have, I suppose, the most qualified people are examining that, and a decision will be made, Minister, in a timely manner?
Thank you. Minister.
Well, just to say to you, Deputy, that the evidence that was given to my department was withdrawn, as you know, and we did make every effort for the evidence to be presented back to us again so we could examine it. In good faith, we did that, and that has happened. And it is complex material. It's partly composed of and makes reference, amongst other things, to a report of the Tribunal of Inquiry, transcripts of evidence to the Tribunal Inquiry, to the report of the independent legal examination. So we have been examining the material. I do want to assure you of that. There is a specific official assigned to examine it. A lot of time and effort has been put into looking at the material to try and, analyse what is new, and is there new material? Is it different to the evidence that was presented before? It is very complex. If it was simple, it would have been done quickly before now, and I would remind you there have been 2 investigations already. So we will be in contact with the committee again shortly, and we will be responding to the material that has been given, and it's up to the committee then to come back to us.
Thank you. Deputy Flanagan.
Thanks. Well, I just want to thank the Minister, obviously, if she will make a commitment to contact the Victims Committee in a timely manner over the coming weeks, and just if she can shed any light in relation to, I suppose, the allegations that were made to An Garda Síochána. Is there any update on that, Minister. Can you give any update to the House regarding that? I know you don't want to put across an inquiry that the Commissioner has organised or whatever, but if you have anything to report to the House on that matter.
Thank you. Minister.
Well, yes, as I've said to you, we're taking the material that's been given to us seriously. There is an individual officer assigned to it who's put a huge amount of time and effort into going through the material and indeed responding to telephone calls, a lot of telephone calls and contact from the committee. And that contact will be made, and we will be going back to the members of the committee and asking for comment on a variety of issues. In relation to the investigation, when I met the committee, they raised concerns with me, which I don't want to put on the floor of the House now because they are the subject of the Garda investigation. When they were told to me, I did say to the committee that they should report any details they had in relation to that particular issue to the Guards, and there is a Garda investigation going on. It continues.
Thank you, Minister. A brief